Don't wanna play trick, I think they shot out.